Welcome, welcome, welcome to Ian and Jerrod's Humpday Extravaganza. I'm with my co-host Jerrod Altmeyer, and
Humpday!
and I'm Ian Martin. So now you know who we are. Yeah, 30 seconds should be plenty of time for our audience to join in.
Absolutely,
I
absolutely. I'm
think
sure they are. They're
phones,
just raring to go.
yeah, Facebook notifications across the country should be happening, saying, "Oh, let's drop everything to go check out Ian and Jerrod's Hump Day Extravaganza."
I don't understand the people who aren't watching already.
I don't either. We had such a good time 2 weeks ago.
We did,
I
yeah.
Yeah, I decided it's really getting too dark. I can't sit outside like I did last time. It's kind of funny. Just 2 weeks ago, it was still really bright when we hit play, and I'm looking outside now, and I'm like, I'd probably get about 20 minutes before I was in the dark.
So after the show last week, Ian and I were, conversing, and like it just turned. He was just pitch black. You couldn't even see him by the.
That's
by
right.
the end. Just sitting there in the dark and eaten by bugs.
That's it. That's it. And then and then Amy was drawn in by a tractor beam.
I knew
Yeah.
the tractor beat was a good idea, and that
Yeah.
goes perfectly with the
Yeah.
theme of the show tonight.
And I think you were wise to pay the extra fee to
Yes.
get the tractor beam installed. I agree. It was I argued you, but you ended up being right.
We've been making so much money. It was about time we invested some of it back into the
Back
show.
in, yeah. This is just raking in the dough, especially on Twitch. Our Twitch followers are the best.
Shout out especially to our Twitch followers. Right
Yes. That I just because I can stream to three different. I put it to my personal Twitch page. Nobody's ever watched from. Yeah. So Sam and Amy are on. Yeah. Last week, Jerrod and I we often like catch up after the show. And last week or 2 weeks ago, I told him I said, "Hey, you're gonna be mid-story or I'll be mid-story," and my computer. I don't have my charger with me. It's going to die. And it did. It did. Like 2 minutes after I said that, Jerrod was mid-story. And you know what's nice about our friendship is that we didn't need to text each other. We knew what was happening. It was all right. It came to a natural conclusion.
I
Yeah.
thought you were murdered.
Well, that too. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's 50-50 here at the South County. Rhode Island, lots of serial killers, and the community that I live in during the summer has all but shut down because it's after Labor Day, so it's me and about 3 people. So it's like the summer version of The Shining here. Like I'm locked in a summer place, not a winter hotel, but a summer cottage. Yeah. So
Murder on your mind. In your mind.
murder in my mind.
You got Moonstone
Yes.
all to yourself now.
Got Moonstone all to myself. Those folks native to Rhode Island know the history of Moonstone, and that's my homage to it.
Yeah. I've got Moonstone stories, but those are for a different episode.
Different audience. That's
right.
Ian and Jerrod's Hump Day Extravaganza at night.
The Blue Show.
The Blue Show. Sam, going all over the place. She was on Facebook. Now she's on this. If you ever talk about killers, definitely invite me on. Sam, and
I
for
love
those
it,
of
the
you,
West Side.
Sam, I am a murderino, and I don't know if people know what that is. You have to follow a certain podcast, but I do like true crime. Not as much as my mom is a huge true crime. When I was growing up, she'd always have like an Anne Rule book, who was kind of the godmother of true crime. But I get sucked into all the true crime stories, and yeah. So, and I'm always one of my favorite things to do is to you know how you people watch, to pick out the ones that look like they could be serial killers. Like that's my favorite thing to do. Like in the mall, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's killed at least 5 people.
I don't underestimate anybody. I mean, anybody we know could be a serial killer.
Mm-hmm. It's
Except
true.
me. Just
So,
sheer
well,
laziness keeps
just-
me from being like I will not clean my place up before the
No.
delivery
Yeah.
guy is here.
Yeah. Oh, Why is it all red in there? Oh, painting, painting on the floor. Yeah.
Barbecue sauce.
I don't know if you all know the play that was turned into a movie called Arsenic and Old Lace. It's an old one with Cary Grant. But in the movie and the play, it takes place in Brooklyn, but it really took place in my whole hometown. It was these two little old ladies that would rent their houses in the 1800s. They would rent out their rooms to bachelors, and they would feel so bad for them for being lonely bachelors. They would murder them to put them out of their misery. They killed like 28 people. I was in that in high school too, Sam. So actually, I was in it in college. Yes.
So my mother was actually in it. That was her senior play in high school.
That's
ladies.
So we have an Arsenic and Old Lace, but Windsor, Connecticut is where it actually took place, and the house is still standing. You can see the house. So yeah, that's Windsor has two claims to fame. That's the one that it can really take. Then they're in a fight with Wethersfield, Connecticut, over who was the first town in Connecticut, and it's a weird rivalry between those two towns.
I'm from Connecticut.
Yeah.
Also, as well, and Connecticut rivalries are the weirdest rivalries in the country.
Yeah.
No real need for most of them. They're very meaningless. It's like East Lyme and Old Lyme. You know, we were the first ones to have Lyme disease. There's no good rivalries in Connecticut. Yeah. None.
Yeah. Yep. No. Peter played the evil brother. The evil brother was Dr. Einstein, I believe, but he was really the homicidal brother, and he was played by Peter Lorre in the movie. Look at this knowledge I'm dropping. I, on the other hand, played the cop, and I played if there was a cop in a play in high school, I was playing it, because that's what you give to the heavy kid. You don't give anything but background roles to the heavy kids. So that my acting was stunted. I'm telling you, because I only could play one line walk on parts. But I'm not bitter. At 49 years old, I'm not bitter. 30 years later. So Jonathan. Yes, you're right, Jonathan.
They'll get their comeuppance. I know very little about this play. Like I said, all I know about it is that my mom played one of the two old ladies, and that is the extent of my knowledge of Arsenic and Old Lace.
He was all right. I'm going to keep going. Sam, you're right. He was the one that looked like Boris Karloff because he had plastic surgery, and the guy did it drunk while watching like Dracula or something like that. So that was the big running gag and I think in the original play, Boris Karloff played the brother, and then Peter Lorre got it, and that. I'm sorry. No, Peter Lorre was the insistent. Yeah, you're right. All right. We're boring everybody. It's Sam and Amy. Sam knows all about it. Amy hasn't chimed in, so I don't know if she knows about it. Yeah, we're definitely ostracizing our two viewers.
This so far this episode has been the Ian and Sam episode.
Yeah.
I sit here awkwardly.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get into it then. So our topic tonight is our relationship with gadgets. I'm not even going to say love or hate, because I don't know where Jerrod falls on this, and he doesn't know where I fall on this. So it's just our relationship with gadgets. And Amy was never in the play, but she's familiar with it. So this all started at the beginning of the summer for me. I have in this where I live for the summer. I have a very, very, very small yard. It's about 15 feet between my house and the next house, so a patch of grass, and then the same amount on the other side, and then a small patch in the front, small patch in the back. So really not a huge yard. But we had forever an electric lawnmower that you had to plug in and deal with the extension cord. And it made it the worst job in the world. It was like doing step aerobics. You have to step over the cord and then yank it so you don't run over, and it's like an art, and you got to do it in a certain pattern. It was like solving a escape room. It was so complex to know which way you needed to turn and all this stuff. So last summer during COVID, it rusted through. And towards the end of the season, I was getting debris thrown at me whenever I was mowing the lawn. Big face of dirt and grass, and occasionally a rock I'd have to move out of the way quickly from. So I decided this summer it's time to get a new one, and I wanted a battery operated one. So I went on to HomeDepot.com and I bought the cheapest battery operated lawnmower you can get. And it was 13 inches. And I don't, in my mind, I should know that's like 1 inch more than a ruler, right? But it didn't click, right? So I order it and I get a curbside pickup and I come home and I bring it home. And I have a picture of it. It was on Facebook if you're Facebook friends. Yeah, that's me. That's me with the 13-inch lawnmower. And you can see, like, the yard doesn't go that much farther to the right, so you can see it's going to do an adequate job, right? But that is the giant me. And for everybody that's concerned, yes, I'm wearing flip-flops. That's a staged photo. I went in and put on real shoes when I started mowing the lawn, but I wanted to snap the picture.
Did you actually get that from a machine in Home Depot where you put in a quarter and you pulled the lever and the lawnmower popped out in this plastic bubble?
Yes, that's exactly how. It was between that and a teddy bear, and I got the lawnmower. So
I love the curbside pickup piece of it. I know it's because you got it online, but I still love to think that, like, this guy, he could just put it in his pocket and walk to his car with it. This has happened twice this summer where I expected what I was picking up to be huge, that I was worried about picking it up by myself because I might need help. So this was the first thing. The other thing was I ordered for a work event light sticks, and I ordered 400 light sticks, and I thought I'd need help carrying the boxes because there's 8 packages. Well, the packages were about this big. It came in a box about this big. I brought help to take it from the mailroom, and I'm like, I put it under the arm. So I don't know what I was thinking. So clearly size and perception is not a good thing for me. But yeah, you could. I carried the box from I went in and got it from a Home Depot, and I put it in my trunk, and I just have a regular sedan. That's how small this box, this lawnmower is. So when you say it's a battery powered lawnmower, are we talking AA?
Yeah, no, 1,000 AA. I just raided the dollar store. No, it's part of here. It's Ryobi. That's the brand name. That is Home Depot's in-store brand, right? You can't get anywhere but Home Depot, and it was $199, which was exactly what I wanted to spend on a lawnmower, and it comes with a battery that lasts for 40 minutes, right? Unfortunately, I have a 50-minute lawn to mow, so I ended up having to get a second battery. And I was telling a friend the other day, I need to get a holster for it because I want to do a real quick change out. Like I don't want the blade to stop spinning as I change out the batteries. But I've yet to figure that out. That'll be for next season because we're coming to an end. So
I'm sure as a kid I had a Hot Wheels exactly the same size as that. I'm sure.
And I'll be honest, I'm so happy with the job it does. I don't use the bag. Someone commented that they have one in it. If you use the bagger, it fills up quick. And I can only imagine it's about the size of a grocery bag, like a plastic grocery bag. So, yeah, I would say every 3 feet you'd be turning that out. But I'm fine just letting it, the mulch feature, which basically is it just doesn't spit it anywhere and lets it lay right where it's cut.
So I'll you know what? Like I've made my jokes about it, and there's a good chance I will make more. But I will also say, when you get a gadget that you like, you don't just like it; you love it.
I love it.
If it works for you. It is just the best.
You can't see it. At least it's small on my screen, but there's pure joy on my face.
I was gonna look how happy you are.
Look at how happy. Yeah, and look at that. That's a confident pose. Like that's a power pose. Like the feet are spread. I'm holding onto it like it was made for me. That's the perfect height for a handle. I look like a giant behind it, but it is all handle. You know, like it is all handle. So yeah, so that's and I have to admit, I have a real love of gadgets. The fact that it's small, the fact that it's the perfect size to do the job that it needs, and it was relatively on the cheap side. And I don't have to do the calisthenics jumping over the cord as I, mow the lawn. Just made it all work. I used to always be, my house. It's like whoever gets tired of it does it first, and when I'm at the beach house, my whole family's here all summer, so there's a lot, So this year I was like, you know what, I'll do it. I even did it the other day. I was tired. I had to work the next day, and I was cooking. I had to cook dinner, and I was like, you know what, I'll mow the lawn. I'll mow the lawn right now. And I'm never like that. If I can figure out a way to say, I ought to wait till next week, I will. But it needed mowing, so I mowed it.
So,
And that was right before I took that picture, so you could see I was looking forward to it. So
I'll say I have kind of a love-hate relationship with gadgets. I work in technology, so that means to people around me who know that, I get a lot of, hey, I just got this. Can you help me make this work? It is also part of my job. You get people who are like, I just bought this and I want it to connect to my computer and our network and the internet and this cloud and make it all work. So gadgets can be enjoyable, they can be convenient, but they can also be like blood pressure raising nightmare for me. But no. I was approaching this from my very first gadget that I can remember. Now, not like the little kid to speak and say or anything like that, which years of good times for me. Don't get me. But the first thing I would really consider a gadget that I just love was I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And for people who don't know, like handheld video games way back then, it wasn't where you get different discs to put them in. You would buy it, and that was the one game that was on there, and you would play that. These LCD screens and everything. And I had one, Snoopy Tennis, where you were Snoopy with the tennis racket, and there was like 3 levels you could be standing, and you and Charlie Brown would be whapping that tennis ball back and forth. You'd be jumping up and down, and if you got real good, Lucy might come out and whap another tennis ball at you. Damn you, Lucy! And I would play that for hours, and my dad would play it too, which is one of the things that I think made it special for me, because my dad would take the game and he would borrow it. And this is when I was a kid, lived in Germany. My dad was in the army, so there were times like he might have barracks duty or an overnight duty. He would be really cool about it. Hey, Jer, can I get that to play it tonight while I'm on duty? And of course, I was, not happy. Yeah, absolutely. Tell me your high score, Dad. And that is my first relationship with a gadget. So I think for me, for a long time, that led me to enjoy like the handheld video game thing, because it was, for me, more than just, the joy, the dopamine rush that you get from doing well in a video game. There was also the thing of me and my dad with it. And when it broke, I was heartbroken.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of us got our love of gadgets from kid. I just want to go before we move on. We had a lot of comments. So just going back to the lawnmower. Tonka makes fine lawn equipment. I agree. Alyssa, look at the bright side. You can use it to trim your beard. It'd probably do a better job than I do.
He'll need a longer battery for it.
Yeah, Garth, my cousin, says baggers suck, and actually, I'm going to talk about Garth in 1 second about the gadgets, and then Sam saw that picture and almost passed out from how amazing it is. Yeah, I agree. I think it may be my new profile pic. I gotta. It's been improv too long, and I haven't done improv in a long time. So, all right. So going back to a kid, Jerrod, I agree with you that. And you know what was also great about gadgets back then? They were simple. They had one thing they had to do,
right.
And so it was hard for them not to do it right? It was like, all right, it just works. You hit the on button and you're playing the game. Now, I had my sister and I were the youngest of our maternal sides. Actually, we're the youngest cousins on both sides of my parents, but I was really close with my mom's nieces and nephews, my cousins on her side, and they were, because they were my youngest cousin is 3 years older than me. He always had the cool toys before I did, like I'd want Christmas morning, I'd get what I want, but then we'd go over there and they'd always have like that one cooler toy because they're older and you know.
Yeah.
But I remember they got head-to-head football, and this thing was played not, yeah, it was played by LED, but it was like just lights that lit up. There was no graphics, and I, as a little one, I mean, I didn't understand. This will tell you a lot about me. I didn't understand how football worked till I was in college, and my best friend explained to me all the rules. I just not a sports guy. I knew baseball because my dad and my grandfather were really into baseball, and to this day, that's the only sport that I even remotely pay attention to. But when I learned football, but as a kid, I was trying to learn football on that head-to-head thing with the flashing lights, and I don't know what I was doing. No wonder they didn't want. You know, I think I was the annoying little guy that was like, "No, let me even play with my brother because he knows what he's doing." You know, that sort of thing. So,
That was
but
one
yeah,
of the red lights, right?
yeah, the red lights
I know
and
that one.
yeah. The precursor. I mean, and my family has always my family has always been encouraged for me to get into technology because I had a little bit of an aptitude for it, and also this is getting personal, but I was diagnosed young with a fine motor problem, and at the time, everybody was pushing me to type and do and use a joystick. Like at the time, remember this is the 80s, so these were all new technologies, you know, and so they were really encouraging that. So for those two reasons, like I always had great gadgets, but one of the things I remember my grandfather bought me, and this is probably before like 1980, he got me Pong with the paddles, and that's all it played. That was the first foray into the first foray into technology and that sort of thing. So yeah, so I think similarly, that's where we probably started our relationship with gadgets.
Yeah, and you know, most of what I think I would be diving into will be electronic gadgets. But I
Yep.
think when I was a kid, I probably had more non-electronic gadgets, and because you're a kid, you're dumb, you fall for them. Like I'd go fishing a lot as a kid.
Ah,
Uncle, cousins, it was all a big fishing thing, and I would be enamored by all the little gadgets. Like you can use this device to tie on a hook and to I don't know, but take the scales off a fish and to take the hook out of the fish's mouth and give you good breath. It would be like all these little different things that it would say it could do. And more often than not, this incredible gadget that like 8-year-old Jerrod was enamored with was just a piece of plastic with different shaped notches in it that it would say it could do all of these things. I,
that's
I wonder if maybe there's a part of me every time I do get dumb gadgets, I feel so stupid. With a recurring theme in my life is getting gadgets that I think are cool. Then I get them and I'm seriously underwhelmed. And and that's the end. There's some I've gotten that I've loved. I don't think I'd have to think if I've ever gotten one that exceeded my expectations. Maybe my iPhone, when I originally got it, is the only thing that exceeded my expectations. Because I was one who I could always those infomercials for things. I always was just enamored with them, amazed. The kitchen gadgets. Oh,
well. Didn't you?
oh,
Did we talk about this on air last week, or was this off air? Where you got the was it the
rotisserie,
Ronco the rotisserie?
rotisserie.
Yeah.
It was great, but it was definitely not as amazing as I thought it was going to be. Looking at the commercials, and
Yep.
some of them are just. I look back at some, I thought that is so cool. There is one, and it's like the celebrity chef with the British accent. I don't know if he was a real chef, but he was definitely British and in a chef outfit. And
That's all it takes is a chef hat.
it's like cutting with 4 knives at the same time. And what it was like a food processor that you manually turn the finger on. And I'm watching like,
They took the motor out.
wow, 8 knives at once. And this is not like pre-food processor time.
Right.
It wasn't like the 1780s that I was watching this. So I would always really fall for the infomercial. Even now, I've got to change the channel because I will fall for this. Because those that make you look like they're making all these meals. They're like, you can finally make homemade ice cream. Now, I've never thought about making homemade ice cream in my life until I see them say that on the same device that I can cut up peppers and make meat into hamburger. I've been wanting to make ice cream for years on a device like that. I will fall for that when I'm watching it. I'm an easy mark for those things.
That's funny. Yeah, no, I never got into that type of stuff. I've always been a high expense gadget guy. I there's it's the I oh my god, I like and I'll be and this probably was stemmed from my God bless my parents. We didn't have a lot growing up, but we had my birthday's on Christmas, so I got to double book. So I got as a kid, I think my friends would get them, and I'd have to wait till Christmas because I grew up in a more wealthy town than we were on the poor end of a wealthy town, and so by the time Christmas rolled around, it was like, there would always be this one thing, and they banking. Getting a big Christmas gift and a birthday gift at the same time, I can get more than you would if it were, 6 months apart and that sort of thing. But yeah, video games at an early age, but also I had a love for computers. But like I had at 16, and this is when CDs were just coming out. I really am dating myself, but I remember having one of the first CD players because I was really wanted that. And then as I got a little bit older, I very smartly invested in a Laserdisc player. I needed a Laserdisc player. Yeah, and then like 3 years later, DVDs come out, and it's kind of like going for Betamax when VHS won. But oh, and I remember that we rented for a weekend. We saw a video store, and we rented for a weekend at a VCR.
We used to do that when I was a kid.
Yeah, and loved it so much that my dad bought the billet and actually purchased one. And boy, the years that it was just VHS and going to the video store, there was nothing that made me more excited than going to the video store to watch a movie. So again, but it's gadgets. I'd be the one that want to put the tape in and make it play. I liked how it worked,
Well, we finally got one when I was in high school because we did the same thing, rent it. And I was like, I want to learn how to program this because I didn't want to record Letterman. But a popular gadget that I always wanted, I never bought because I was a kid or in high school, never bugged anybody too much, but I always wanted was they used to have the VHS tape rewinders. And, depending on where they were being advertised, it might be like in your Parade magazine, right under some article about Miami Vice. They'd have the Miami Vice, what is it? Lamborghini, Ferrari, the boat. It'd be shaped like that. You could put in the VHS tapes to rewind. Because if you didn't rewind a tape that you brought back to the video store, you might got charged $1 or $2 because you were an inconsiderate jerk and did not rewind them. But when you were a kid, did you read the books? It was the Big Brain series. It was written from the perspective of the younger brother. It was a family, I think, in Utah back in like the 1800s, and the older there was from the younger brother's perspective, but kind of the star was his older brother. Big Brains Benton was his name. Big Brains. And their dad used to he'd buy a lot of gadgets from back then. And it was kind of neat when they describe it because it was like buying it from the Sears Roebuck catalog. One of the things that he would, the Great Brain, yeah. So one of the things that he bought was like an early, like backboard and hoop, basketball setup and things. So gadgets did make me think of that. So I just wanted to throw that out.
I never read those. I kind of want to go back and see if I can find them to get a flavor because I was an avid reader. It must have been just maybe I aged out because I'm a little bit older than you. I don't know. I used to like Encyclopedia Brown.
Yep.
Those were my jam. Oh, kids solving mysteries. Come on. Come on. Is there anything better?
The Happy Hollister series, the Hardy Boys. I was an avid reader as well.
Yeah. And then I got into comic books. Then it was all downhill. Then it was all I wanted superheroes and fantasy and all that stuff. Yeah.
So I was a Cub Scout for a little while. So my mom, they do the magazine fairs, and she get me a Boys Life magazine. And in the back of that, they would always have the things I always wanted to get. So it would be like the magic stuff, the X-ray glasses. It would have like the stone polishers, and I always wanted to order those things, and I'm glad I never did.
Yeah.
I still, when I see anybody writing about these things, any of those things that you could buy from the back of the Boys Life magazine, I am enamored by the article just because I still need to know for sure that I made the right move and I'm not buying those on my.
I think you did okay. I think you did okay. That's funny. Yeah. So then my love of gadgets actually, so I was a solid C student in high school, just a classic underachiever, and one of the things that I really had a lot of, well, first of all, I put it in my head that I wanted to own my own business because, like I said, not only was I reading comics, but I started working at a comic book store, and I was really friends with the owners, and they were, they were about 10 years older than me, but I liked the path that they were on, owning their own store and keeping their own hours. It was everything a slacker would want. Now that I'm older, I know how much hard work they were really putting into it, and glad I didn't go down this road. So I decided not to go to college right away, and I started taking classes at community college, and I started taking computer classes, and that's a direct result of my love of gadgets because I did have an aptitude for it. I had done some programming, but also, I could understand why things work. So that really drove me into my whole college career until my senior when I said, I can't do this 8 hours a day. And I gave up and decided, I'll go get my master's in education and never look back at computers. So I have a community college. I was there for 4 years, never got the associate's degree, and then transferred to a 4-year college, was there for another 3, and never used the computer degree that I eventually got, and then just went into education, and that's what I've been doing ever since. But it is because of the gadgets in my life that put me on that road.
Yeah, yeah. I also, I work in technology. I am one of those people who is doing computer stuff 8 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you like gadgets, if you're a gadgety person, what is nice about a profession like mine is that it's always changing. Like,
yeah,
so different than it was even 5-6 years ago.
Yeah,
So much is different. It's not like some jobs that somebody who's been doing it 20 years, it hasn't changed much in the 20 years they've been doing it. If you were doing it 20 years ago and stopped, you wouldn't be able to get a job today doing it. Just a completely different world that is also makes it terrifying to get out of, because when it's like you've got a skill set you can use to make money, you can't leave it for very long and have that as a fallback plan either. So kind of the two-sided coin on that one.
Well, I think for me, I wouldn't know what to do. Although I've kept up a little bit, like I know PCs a little bit and that sort of thing just from interest. But what it did is I'm no longer afraid of technology. You get rid of your fear of technology because most everything can be fixed again. Like if you crash it, most likely you can back up and go back to it. So I'll be the one that has no idea. Oh, recently at work, I needed to learn how to use a light board that had some software on it, and it was very antiquated software, and nobody knew how to use it. And I was like, well, it's not doing me any good now. It's broken. It may work, but I don't know how to use it. So I just jumped in and started learning it. Now I love it. That is what I think separates a lot of folks that are technophobic. They're just so afraid of it. I have no fear. I'm like, if it breaks, no one's using it anyway, so might as well jump in there, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of thinking back to like the infomercial piece when it comes to gadgets. So one thing I didn't know until fairly recently, so when you watch infomercials for things, it's pretty much always like kitchen stuff, or does this ever happen to you?
Yeah.
Something that has never happened to you in your life.
I can't imagine it happening to you ever.
Who would ever need? You know what a lot of those products are for? They're for people with different disabilities, and then they're marketed not as products.
Oh.
To kind of make it.
Well, they want to. they have a limited audience. They want to bring it out to a major audience so they can sell more product, move more product. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's also like if you're disabled, you know, it, I I don't know. I'm not somebody who is disabled, but I could imagine that having products for disabled people specifically thrown at you just makes you feel
Oh yeah,
weird, you
that's a
know.
good call.
But you look at there's some. It was like the one where you put your sock in this thing, then you put it on the floor, and you put your foot in. It's
Yep.
like,
Yep.
hey, you know what? For somebody who's like got bad hips or a bad
Yeah.
back or something like that, a product
Some
like
mornings I kind of need it.
that, yeah,
Yeah. Some mornings my belly just gets in the way.
right, right.
Yeah.
Like it used to be, even just tying my shoes. Like
Yeah.
I can get that right on my other leg. Now it's
Yeah.
helpful if I'm wearing long pants because I can grab onto the bottom of the pants and hoist
Hoist it
myself
up.
up there. Yeah, it's becoming many more moving parts to do these simple things now.
All right, we got it. I want more info on this. Sam says she faxed her first documents recently. That seems like you're going back in time. Like that shouldn't be something you're doing now at all, let alone your first time. Like were you? I don't know. It'd be me saying I made my first mimeograph today.
So you want to hear something wild? One of the biggest communities where faxing is still a thing is in the medical community. And they say it's because it's more secure than any of the like computer technologies that are out there to transfer information back and forth. Reality is it's not. It's considerably less secure than sending the information back
Yeah,
and
because
forth.
it's not encoded. All you got to do is tap into the phone line,
Yeah.
and yeah.
It's unencrypted.
Yep.
It's just
Yeah.
analog. Anybody can swoop in and get that communications go as across. And like, let's say you go to a website and you see the little lock up in the title bar of that, which almost every website now has.
Yeah.
Like supercomputers will take months. I think there was it was a few years ago, but it'll take months to decrypt individual packets from that. And then the way it works is sending a bunch of different packets, so you don't know which one you have. And even if you could get them decrypted in some timely manner, you don't know what you got till it's done and what you're missing. Whereas a fax, you just pipe it and get it. Anyway. I didn't intend to go that nerdy direction. I apologize to the listeners.
I put an I in front of the number.
A one.
Oh, a 1. I got it. Oh.
Yeah.
The cafe. Yeah. You got to dial it like a real old-time phone, which is a 1, which is the country code, which is amazing, and then the area code, and then the 7-digit number. Yes. Yes. And if you're in office, you may have to hit 9 first to get an outside line.
I was about to, so in my office where I work, if you want to get an outside line, but it's local to Rhode Island, it's 9 and then the
7-digit, yeah.
If you're dialing a long distance number, it's 9 and then a 1 and then the 10-digit long distance number. But there's been a few times where I have to call like a 1-800 or 1-866 number, and it's in my mind. It's like 9-1 to get out, and then I start dialing the 1-800.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's like 911 emergency services, fire or medical. Neither.
No.
And you hang up and tell somebody, hey, I accidentally dialed 911. If they call, it was me. I'm telling you because I don't want to get in trouble for this.
Yep. Well, ours, because I work on a college campus, our 911 gets routed to our campus safety first, and then if they don't shut it off, it goes like you get 10 seconds for it to be routed to the real emergency services. So I have to live with the shame that I know the other person on the other end, and I have to I stuttered on the 1, and they're like, it happens all the time. But they're like that, Ian. Like, what's his problem? It's yeah.
Did they have to fill out paperwork every time you do that, Ian?
I probably, but the other funny thing that working at a college has, I took a spill a couple of years ago. It was wintertime, and coworkers and I were going up to, we were getting ice cream sandwiches at the dining hall. We had this craving. So it's definitely me like getting punished for doing anything. So we're walking back, and it's the end of winter. So working in Providence, there's a pothole problem after the snows are gone, right? And when it's sunny out, and anytime there's a pothole program. Well, crossing the street right in front of the campus, and I'm not paying attention, and I go into the pothole,
Oh,
and I was okay, but I did a slow fall, Jerrod. Like my two friends that were with me were like, it was so funny. Like you just fell so slowly. Well, I turned, because it happened at work. My boss was like, "You really should fill out the accident report." But
yeah.
so I fill out the accident report. They sent an officer. Well, the officer had looked up the video cam, and basically what it was a sweeping camera back and forth, and it gets me just starting to fall before I go out of camp focus, and then they come back, and I'm just landing, like I'm down on the ground. So that has to be up in our campus safety office somewhere because it was the funny. We were all laughing about it when we saw this thing.
I've got to be like, I hear that story and I am just terrified. And it makes me think like this: a certain age you reach where falls, when seeing somebody fall goes from being really hilarious to like, oh, that could be serious.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, if I went down harder, it would have been. I got a cut on my wrist because that's where I put my hand out. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting to the age. The older you get, the more likely you break bones. You know.
so
Yeah.
I was once the age where if somebody fell, I would think it was hilarious and laugh.
Yeah.
Now, if I fall and somebody's laughing, I hate them.
You hate
I
them. Yeah.
really like want to hit them hard.
Yeah. Because you don't bounce. Even if you're not breaking bones, you don't bounce back like you
Oh,
used to.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I was. I think I had a little leg pain for probably a
Yeah.
week or so after that. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But it was funny because it is the slow fall.
You would
Yeah.
think it's 2021, there'd be some gadget out there, like on Amazon Prime Day, that I could use, that they would sell to fill in potholes. Because, oh my, I'm not going to get involved because it's all different stories in me, Providence, and potholes, but I hate potholes, and I feel like people would buy a gadget that they could, like, there's always one. Yeah, all year round. There's a pothole somewhere on everybody in Rhode Island's way to work that's just like, oh, I got to remember to like drive over it or something because my tire is always hitting it. And every time it does, I've gone through so many tires. I'm so sick of these potholes. If there was a gadget out there to fill in potholes, I don't care what I would need in it. Like sand or I have to poop in it. I don't care. I don't care. Angel wings. I would take whatever it was that I'd have to have in there and just be going out there and filling up potholes.
Well, I think you're onto something. We need to come up with some sort of substance that we as the drivers of America could keep in our car and then fill in. And this stuff is just given out readily to everybody, and we fill our own potholes. Like I
Right.
feel like that.
I feel that like right now the American solution would be to shoot the pothole, but that
Right.
would just make it worse.
That would you can't you know
Fill it
I
with
know
mud.
there's a good portion of our society that believes if I have a gun and I shoot at it, it will fix all problems. But potholes, you're right, is not one of them. It'll just get bigger.
I got to tell you, if I had a gun in my car, there's a few times I would have possibly shot a pothole.
Yeah, yeah.
And hope
Hey,
it felt pain.
yeah, yeah. All right, we have a few comments on what we've been saying. Let me scroll back up. Uh, oh, this was nice. This is a nice comment. Uh, so we're too young to get that sympathy. We look too young to get. Age wise, we may not be too young to get the sympathy, but we're both looking like we aren't at that age. So that's
Dan, if you ever see me fall, please help.
yeah.
Please help. I will
I
need
agree.
help.
I agree. Let's see. I have a knack for this. Nice, Amy. Good company. And then Jessica says that's what cocaine is for. Is that?
You cannot fill a pothole with cocaine.
Yeah, it's going to be more costly than tarmac.
That's a terrible use of cocaine, Jessica.
Yeah, Sam wants us to shoot the pothole. For what is this? For bouncing back and potholes. I got it. All right. We need to. I would love
I
to
took a
see
bad
that.
fall and now my face is numb. Oh, did you land on your nose? Nope.
Nope.
The cocaine.
Yep. There it is. So, And if anybody can hear a bird chirping, that's our special guest Oscar tonight. There's a bird in my house, a little
Oscar is a big
cockatiel.
fan of wordplay, so
Oh, Oscar's loves a pun. Oscar loves a pun. Yeah, it's a little bit. It's a bit much. It's a bit much.
Oh,
Uh,
so kind of back to gadgets.
yes.
My anger of potholes. That's too
Yeah.
much energy.
That.
I will not sleep tonight.
Yeah. And it's
Uh,
about to get even worse, so we really need to save that energy.
yeah.
You know.
Hold on, just a little bit off subject now. Speaking of sleep, last night I had a really weird dream that I had Superman superpowers, and in
Ooh.
my dream I was going after all these other superheroes, and if I'd get them, I would also get their superpowers. And like some of them would be like, "You can join a team I'm putting together." They didn't lose their superpowers. Some you had to squirrel away or something. That was the entirety of my dream. No love interest, no real plot. It was just me going after superheroes and taking their superpowers.
That's kind of my favorite dream ever. Like that like no stress to it. I just feel good. You got powers. Yeah.
I love like superhero dreams. Those really
Yeah.
are the best. We'll talk about it some other time, but
We'll do
I
dreams
love
one
the,
night.
I love the superhero fantasy, and I think what appeals to me the most about it is you can do all of these incredible things without having to put all the prerequisite work to get good at stuff. And that's what really appeals to me about anything.
Let's
But
see. Sam says, "Oh my God, that was an amazing dream. You're pissed off in my latest dream with you as the main character. So angry.
she told me about that one. I was just
Yeah.
going around like
Yeah.
furiously angry.
Yeah, I
You know
love it.
what? I don't remember too much of what you described, but I'm willing to bet that if she could go back into that dream and talk about why I was so angry, somewhere potholes were
Yep.
involved. I
Yep.
probably went over a pothole. Okay, moving on. So I would say that today's like gadgets now, where you stumble across new gadgets, because so much of what we do is software based. It's like a new app on your phone or something.
Right.
Like that. I think gadgets come from two places. One, when it's like Amazon Prime Day, if you're not an Amazon boycotter, when something like that happens, oh, I never even thought of that. And it's reduced by 70%. I
And
prefer not to buy it.
and Amazon has become like the new Ronco with high tech gadgets. Like they're better quality, but they're inventing things you didn't know you needed or wanted. Like who
Right.
knew they needed? And I can't say her name because she'll talk to me. But who needed this voice assistant in every room? Yet, guess what? I have her in every room now.
I have
And
mine as well.
and if you recall, we talked about my car stereo and the Bluetooth working. I got that gadget for the car for $19 this week. It was on sale, and it solved the problem because it bypasses my phone's Bluetooth and hooks directly into the car. So, for $20, I solved that problem, which was, if you remember, was going to cost $400 to solve on. So yes, so I'm. It's kind of funny because for me, that's my analogy to your Ronco is basically those type of gadgets I can convince myself I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like one of the things I've got on there that I like, but I haven't used in a while, is I got these little Bluetooth speakers that look like lamps. Super cool. They turns out they suck with my Amazon assistant, whose name I will not say because she will type up as well. But in general, they're really cool. Like, it makes me want to like have outdoor party where I could just turn them both on, and but,
Yep.
that's something I just stumbled across on Amazon. So very cool.
That is
But
cool.
I will say the other place where I have stumbled across the crappiest of gadgets that I have brought into my life is Wish, the Wish app. I can't look at it without getting something because everything's so dirt cheap. Then the shipping is like $20, but
Yeah, and you gotta wait at least 2 months. Like
Yeah,
yeah, it's coming straight from China.
when I first got it, the thing that I kept on getting is they'd always have these things you could like clip to your keys to find your keys. And I was excited about those. I was like, I'll put one in my wallet, my keys.
Yep.
I lose these things. It's terrible when you do. I can just get these. And Ian, they were so bad. They
Bad.
all suck. They're all basically the same thing. They'd work with a phone app that was coded by 4 or 5
Yeah.
year olds. It was a
Yeah.
terrible app. And to like use it, it was like, okay, you've got to open up the app. Now you've got to hit the button on the key. If you close the app at all, you would have to start over from scratch, hitting the button again. So it's like, great. So if I misplace my keys, all I have to do is open up my app, find the keys, hit the little button on the keys, look at my app, and it will help me find my keys. And also the app, I have no idea. Like, I do IT. I live technology. I have no
Yeah.
idea how that would help
Yeah.
me find my keys. It just terrible. But I can't get rid of them. I've got like a dozen of them right over on my little, on my dresser in my bedroom.
That's a
You got a
tile.
little one, don't you?
I have a tile. Yeah. I have a tile on this. I have a tile. Basically, it's the stuff that aren't smart. So I have it on my Kindle because I lost my Kindle for about 2 days. I almost ordered a new one, and for some reason, it was in a kitchen drawer. I don't know how it got into a kitchen drawer. Like it was with paper plates and crap. So I went right out and I bought a tile, and then I was like, well, I might as well. They had a sale, so I was like, I'll get one for my keys, and I got one for my AirPods. Again, more gadgets. Look at this: AirPods, tiles, Kindles. I'm vested, right?
And you think about like how gadgets, like you can see over my shoulder, my awesome iron.
Iron.
That is not a gadget. That is a tool.
Hmm.
But like gadgets and just the way they've entered our lives in ways that they've affected us negatively that we don't think about, like your phone. You know, being on your phone right before you turn it off, roll over, you don't sleep as well because of it.
Yep.
Only recently, like in the last week, I've started a thing where I turn off my phone, put it away, and then I read for a little while. So the last thing I'm doing before I try to go to sleep isn't be on my phone. And I have to say, it sucks. I hate it. I like really want to be on my phone.
The phone, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm reading. It's like amazing. I when I was a kid, I read everything that I ran across, and we didn't have those like things to different things that you could use to read or whatever. Because that's mostly what I'm doing on my phone. Honestly, is reading.
Yeah, yeah.
God, when I was a kid, I read the back of the same cereal box over and over and over and over again until all the cereal was gone. And you read that, both side panels, all the ingredients. You didn't care. And I probably slept better then.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's true of anywhere. Like waiting rooms. I don't pick up the magazines anymore. And when I was younger, you're waiting in a waiting room. As a kid, you got the Highlights magazine. As an adult, you'd flip over the 3-year-old version of People.
I have no idea what Goofus and Gallant are doing now, and I haven't known for a long time.
Forever. Are they even?
Are they
still
dead?
with us? Yeah, exactly.
Is Gallant doing? Is Goofus in jail? I don't know.
I don't know. If there's justice in the world, he is. But
he's a shit. I mean,
he is.
Every. What are they called? Each magazine, every
issue. Yep.
Issue. Yeah. I need a gadget that helps my memory, Ian.
Yeah.
Well, not the ones that are like, oh, your brains, this will exercise your brain. No, I need something more. Gallant would probably let me know where there was one. Goofus would probably
not. Yep. All right, Sam, I love this idea. The only problem is we would have to wait at least 2 months to start it, because if we ordered tonight, it wouldn't be till November till we got the products. But I do like that idea.
I have actually reviewed a few Wish products because, like, you get extra points added on for discounts on other garbage.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? One thing I bought off Wish that has actually worked well? The ring light that's in front of me right now. I got it on Wish. I've actually got the rest of the set over in my living room where there's the tripod and the other one. I've been doing shows for over a year using this ring light that I got from Wish.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could, like I'm in darkness. You are well lit. And I'm just using the overhead light. Let's see, Sam. The kids I work with freak if they can't use technology, but what is cool is that they can have phones throughout their stay. So it's like detox. They draw, read, play outside, etc. Yeah. There was a point on my vacation where I had to put my gadgets down so that I was doing things that I didn't feel like working because I'm on, I'm checking, I'm checking email, I'm doing all that stuff, and then finally, so it is a little like detox. I felt that. I can only imagine if it was mandated how that would feel. So that's an interesting, interesting perspective. Jessica suggests making a serial top app where you would read serial tops on your phone to
Well,
replace.
theoretically, I like the idea. You know, the nostalgia thing. But I would be afraid to do it because you ever watch like movies you really liked as kids and you found out, oh, that movie actually really sucked. I would hate to find out, oh, these cereal boxes were stupid and boring. Why was I reading them? I don't want to have that. I still want to believe that the Apple Jacks word searches were clever and well done.
And they were, and that's the end of that. That there's no more need to debate. That is settled. Sam suggests Ritalin for you, and then Amy loves her little ring light. I didn't do the lighting. I got a nice camera, which I'm not using tonight. I'm just using the laptop camera, and I got my microphone, which I'm also not using tonight because I don't have the adapter. But I will go back to using it because I paid a lot of money for it.
I liked it, so I put a little ring on it.
There it is. Ah,
That's
look what
right.
you
My
did there.
gadget purchasing habits are inspired by
The
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Everybody's should be.
And
Beyonce,
just
a
because I'm
sponsor of
country,
the show, actually.
yeah,
It's
and
brought to you by Beyonce. Thank you.
Beyonce, and do you know Beyonce's a celebrity I've met?
No way.
Yeah. So I produce shows for colleges as part of my job, and I was in North Carolina, and this is when Destiny's Child was just coming on the scene, and actually we booked Destiny's Child before Bills hit. It was kind of like one of those, like they were, coming up. People knew a little bit in the hip hop scene, and then all of a sudden, Bills got huge radio play, and we had booked her in between. So, yeah, I got to produce a show and meet Beyonce and all four of the originals, Destiny's Child. So, yeah, that's a claim to fame.
With
That's a claim
Beyonce,
to fame.
so my opinion of Beyonce is like through the roof.
Yeah,
I, People are like, oh, she's a great singer, she's pretty. I also happen to think Beyonce is brilliant.
Yep.
I think to make it in that world, you have to be really smart. And she's done things like I've read where like Kanye West challenged her to Connect Four matches. So she went and she read some Danish PhD's paper on how to increase your chances of winning Connect Four. Like she will do things like that. So I wouldn't say I'm in the beehive, but I have a very high opinion of Beyonce in general. Like I would love to hold a conversation with Beyonce.
she was very very nice, and for me, star power is all about how working at a college. These are student produced shows, so they're not your typical club. The students go all out, but they don't do shows night after night. So
Right.
some things they put a little bit more attention to, and other things they don't. One of the things, and I was brand new to this job. I was probably a few months old, and I went to the Yellow Pages back in the '90s. This is
The phone
yeah.
book gadget.
Yeah, I went to the Yellow Pages and found, a limousine company because their contract called for a limousine. And the limousine company, very green. I didn't do my due diligence the day of and call and make sure they were all set. Well, they never showed up. And
Oh,
so I worked for the state of North Carolina. This is at University of North Carolina, Wilmington. And so I reserved a van, which is a state vehicle. Well, they gave me the van with the hole in the roof. Like yeah.
oh no.
Yeah, so when they saw what I was going to cart them around in to get to their hotel or the airport, I can't remember where I was bringing them, and that I was going to be their chauffeur, their manager, who happens to be Beyonce's dad at the time,
Oh.
well, still her dad, not her manager anymore. Freaked out on me, and of course, at this point, I don't know who these people are. Like I know the song and everything, but this is way before any kind of star power. So I'm like, I don't need to be yelled at. So unfortunately, and then she calmed her dad down and said, Dad, what do we? Which was, he was all, you got to be respected and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, Okay, so I let me just say I always check on the limousines from that moment on.
That's a pretty great story.
Isn't that a good story?
Figure Beyonce's story is going to be a good story, but that was a very cool story.
That's a good story. And then there you go.
I
Oh,
like
and they
when my
were.
mom's watching. She always.
They also had some of the more weird. Let me go through this. I know it's a little off topic, but maybe it's not. They were requesting gadgets. They were the only group that I've ever worked with, and I've worked with a bunch of folks. They needed a massage therapist on site. They were that big that we got them a massage therapist on site. Third Eye Blind needed a whole gym carted in. Like they had a crew that brought in, and the irony was we were we were in a gym and we could have just let them use our weight room, which was nicer than the equipment that they were bringing in. Those are the two weirdest requests from artists. A lot of the other ones are lots of alcohol,
Yeah.
lots of weird things like that. But those are the two that were the most difficult. And someone wanted cooked for you breakfast, so we had to bring in the chefs that were gonna do omelets to order and all that stuff. Yep.
We could do a whole episode on like riders because I thought a lot about different things that I would do, what riders I would have, but I will not. That is a future episode. I see you taking that note right now.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. In fact, I have access to all the writers I've ever worked on, so I could actually.
Yeah.
They're not like if they're not. They're the raw writers, so they're not marked up by the institution, so they're public domain. I would be happy. I'm being insulted.
That's my little niece. That's my 10-year-old niece.
I know. We go way back. We go back a few episodes. All right. I'm going to talk like this.
It's nice because when they're younger and they're coming up and you're the uncle, I pick on her more.
Yeah.
When she was coming up and she would pick on me more. And it's nice to see that she's gotten to the age.
She's gotten it.
Well,
right, Annika, let me just say this. Annika. You do you. Annika, I will say this. Don't drink coffee then. Coffee and tea will take the shine right out of your teeth.
No coffee. Right? Not a coffee drink.
There it is. So, all right, let's see. I worked for a woman that ordered salads and wouldn't eat them unless we mixed them for her. It was wild. Yeah. And is that like a salad kink or is that a server kink?
When we get to the later episode, one thing I'm definitely going to talk about, and just my personality is I cannot stand people who want other people to be very servile to them. Like there are different professions. A waiter, waitress, you are.
Well, we've talked about this a lot.
That's the difference between being, treating people poorly as if they're your servants and if they were beneath you. I've got a real problem with that. I'd be such a good, rich, famous celebrity because all the stories about me was like he was such a nice guy.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, because Jerrod, we've been on both sides of that, and I don't think you need to be on both sides of that, but we have. We've both done our bit, and we know how crappy it feels when somebody's like that. I love providing great customer service. I love going above and beyond. I hate it when I'm told what that looks like. It's just not, let me do what I'm going to do and you're going to be real happy. If I can make it a little better, that's one thing. But if you're going to be ridiculous about it, I don't have any
I just can't stand when people put themselves above other people. Huge problem with that.
Oh, Sam. Maybe another guest star with Sam.
That'd be
these stories.
Maybe bring Sam on for that one.
Yeah. Jessica, you say you wish you had a salad kink and you have a salad romance. They're not mutually exclusive. You can have a romance and the kink. So just saying, it all whatever floats your boat. That's exactly it.
Oh, I can't think of the book and the movie.
This is turning into two old men can't remember anything podcast.
What was Dakota Johnson? Let's do the kinky one. I can't remember. Well, Shows you that, you know what? I didn't have a joke for it anyways because I need to know the name. So moving on.
There it is. There it is. Um, yeah. All right. So let's name some. Let's rapid fire, Jed. You go first. I'll put you on the spot. Rapid fire some of your most favorite gadgets over the years.
Oh my goodness, there's no way I can rapid fire that.
All right. All right. How about
Cheesy.
your worst? Actually, I should go more on brand. Are there any gadgets you absolutely hated and did not meet your expectations?
Almost everything I bought from Wish. The so I think there's the ones that I've purchased. I don't know if you consider them gadgets. You know what? I will tell one. I went back when I was in the military. I went home on leave to my folks' house, and they had this one thing. It was pretty small, only about that big around. Had some blades in the string. You like take off the top, you put stuff in there, put the top on, pull the string. It would like make the blade circular. I guess it was for cutting herbs. And I harangued my parents. I was like, "This is what you're spending my inheritance on?"
I say that to my parents all the time. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's like what? One of my favorite websites for not necessarily gadgets but all things is Wirecutter. I don't know if you are familiar with wirecutter.com. They were an independent website. They were recently purchased by New York Times, but they've stayed independent. Unbelievable. Do not browse that website. You will end up with things like the other day. I was looking for the perfect beach chair because there is an art to a beach chair, and I found the one I want. It's very expensive, but then I saw the best non-spray mosquito repellent, and so they said, here are mosquito repellents that are marketed. Do they really work? And they said citronella, absolutely not. Do not work for mosquitoes. Those wristbands that you put on that looks like a phone cord, they have the right ingredients, but not in the quantity you need. So it really keep your hand from getting mosquitoes. But they did say there was this one gadget out there. It's for $40, and you put a pellet in it, and it you turn it on and it disperses this ingredient, and it really does keep the mosquitoes away without putting the spray on. And I'm like, oh, that sounds great. So I really was this close to buying it, and then I'm like, so yeah, last week I was getting eaten up, but I'm usually indoors by the time the mosquitoes come out, and I'm like, really, am I going to just spend $40 just because I was researching beach chairs, and I said, oh, the title of the article is "Does Citronella Really Work?" And I'm like, I want to know about citronella.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you know, where I forgot was a huge place for really crappy gadgets was
Yes.
on airplanes that in
Oh, Sky Mall, Sky Mall.
yes, it just the most ridiculous things in there. Like I remember one because speaking of mosquitoes, it reminded me of it. It was this hat that you could bring the thing down. It was like mosquito netting around your head. And mosquitoes love me, and I hate mosquitoes, but I would never, ever wear the mosquito net hat anywhere I was going. And there's the model standing there wearing the mosquito net hat. And all I can think is when you decided to get into modeling, never did it occur to you that you would have to try and smile while wearing a mosquito net over your stupid face.
Yeah.
The worst ones were I wish I had one in front of me right now. And who orders from those? Like they'd have the things that they're super cheap here. So many flights you get discount. I've never known if anybody has ordered anything from those.
I keep thinking it's like you're so exhausted after a 12-hour fight, like you don't even realize you're doing it, and you just want to use the phone in front of you to call somebody for free. That's my thing.
I remember reading the thing years ago. Like the CEO, the founder of Sky Mall, was like a billionaire. Like
it's a multi-million-dollar. It went away because of the internet, but
yeah.
Hey Sam, I love this. I want a fancy ice machine that makes crushed ice. Sam, do you want crushed ice or do you want pebble ice?
Or a machine that you can choose a different setting.
Because there is people will pay a lot more for pebble ice, meaning it comes out in little round balls rather than crushed. So I just want to see because they do have pebble ice machines. They sit on your counter and they're about $400. Yeah, pebble ice. Yeah, it is a delicacy. It
So
is. I did not know this.
I will say this. I see those and I think, oh, it'd be so cool to have something to make like cool pebble ice or, crushed ice or something like that. But I also have had empty ice cube trays in my freezer for two
Oh yeah.
consecutive years now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because originally it was ice, but it evaporated very slowly over time, so that they're empty again. That's my favorite.
I used them. I probably used them once and was like, oh, cool. I've
Yep.
got ice cubes there. But refill them, put them
Yeah.
back in the freezer, and
But
oh my
but
god, I
my
couldn't do
dream, I when I am the only thing that I'm sad about not being a homeowner, I'm a chronic renter. I owned one condo and I'll never do it again. But the one thing that makes me sad is I can't pick my appliances, like my major appliances, and I really do feel you've made it when you've got the ice thing on the door of the refrigerator.
I've got to tell you, I would be beside myself, and I would actually put ice in my drinks then, because I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to go through all the at. I could not have made it like
Yeah.
on those caravans out in the old west, because I can't even put water into my ice cube tray.
Yep. That to me as a kid, and it's carried into adult, was the sign of affluence if you had an ice machine in the door of your fridge. And I'm not talking about ice maker in the fridge, which is actually a little bit more convenient. And I've had that. When I've rented, I've had one where it's always making ice in the container, and you just have to reach in and get it. But the door, that's the one I want
That's it right there.
more
Hit the
than I
button,
want a
get the
smart.
ice, hit the
Yeah.
other one, get the water.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I want crushed ice. No, I want cubes. Like that sort of thing.
A little of both.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Um, yeah. See, Alyssa. See, I like your husband. Ice in the door was one of my husband's home ownership day. The other was giving full size Halloween candy. I do the same thing. My dad is always giving out full size Halloween candy, and I've lived on to the tradition. And I get full size non peanut now because my nephew has a peanut allergy, and I always feel bad for peanut kids. So I do Hershey bars, but big Hershey bars that.
One
Yeah.
of the things when I first did live, was living on my own and everything was, Halloween candy. Like wanting to give away the good Halloween candy.
Yeah.
So great. And it is amazing. I don't even know when it happened, but then I hit the point where it's like, I hate when people knock on my door. I don't want to answer it. It's like a complete.
You can't go one night though. You can't go one night and put that aside. Like it's just one night.
2 years I haven't put water in my ice cube trays, Ian.
Right. I forgot. I forgot.
can tolerate people knocking on my door one
Yeah.
night in a year.
Yeah. No. You're right. You're right. No, I'm actually jealous because I have not lived in a good place for trick or treaters. So, and that's a problem because then if I don't get the trick or treaters, I have all these full size candy bars just hanging around. So that's a double conundrum. That's a
I
double
think
conundrum.
it, one year I got like all the Halloween candy and I was ready, and then working too late, you get home and it's like, oh, the trick or treaters they're all done and gone, and I was honestly really bummed out, and I think that's the last time. And then the crotchety old Jerrod took over right.
Yeah,
now.
like I don't want them ringing my doorbell anyways.
Yeah.
I'm turning all the lights on.
I'm
putting-
glad I couldn't give away this candy.
I put up my Thanksgiving stuff early. We don't celebrate Halloween in this household. I don't know why you talk like you've been smoking a pack of Luckies a day, but
It's crazy how, as a little kid, I was so much like Dennis the Menace, and how much as an adult I've been turning into
Mr. Wilson. I think we all do. Get a gadgety doorbell. Yeah, a Ring doorbell, so you can look at them and say, "You're not worth my time," and you can actually talk to them.
I have thought of getting like the doorbell that it was before the Ring. They were coming out with the one that like you could get the app on your phone and have the camera. And you can, Ring does the same thing now too. Where I live now, there's nobody knocking on my door. I live in an apartment where the doors are inside, extra security. I like it less of knocking on the door. But I always did kind of want to mess with people who were knocking on my door
Yeah.
with with that.
Yeah, I always thought, again, not being a homeowner, I don't do it, but I always appreciated the houses that would do the whole haunted house. Like it was just an open
Yeah.
house and you walked in. Now that, and I always appreciated those episodes of Modern Family where they did that. Every Halloween episode, they did their haunted house, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
I am so grateful that there are people who are not like me in the world.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I am
Me
really
too.
all about you go in there and it was like you just know it's either the mom or the dad who wanted to go all out. You go to the come inside, they've got it all decorated and everything. They're all into that. It's like I was doing when I would do murder mysteries. There'd be some people who would be like so into it and everything. I am so glad that those people exist because I'm too curmudgeon-y to be that person myself. But I love that those people are out there. So as much as I hate people for a lot of different reasons, that is really not one of them.
Yeah, I know that that's an area you're crotchety about, and I'm not. But we complement each other in it. There's plenty of things that I'm crotchety about. So when I say I understand what you're saying, it isn't that I'm like, yeah, Jerrod's crotchety. I'm like, we both have those tendencies. So.
And it's funny because, like, to know me, I don't think I come off as like a crotchety person or anything.
No,
But boy, start talking about things and it's like, oh my god, I hate so much.
you get riled up. That's your MO. Like I don't think you set out to be like angry, but as soon as you start thinking about something and it upsets you, like you get going. Like it's a it's kind of like the bringing it back to a lawnmower, the slow starting lawnmower where it's like
And you know what? Some of the things I can't stand, people will get really riled up and angry about stuff. Can't stand those people.
Hate those people. Ah!
Chill out.
The Costanzas. Anyways, so what you got coming up? Anything this week?
So I'm doing the show Saturday in East Lyme. It's a big outdoor event. I don't want to say a ton about it because it's kind of a surprise for somebody who's there. It's kind of a party being thrown for somebody, but this person's daughter and son or daughter and son-in-law have so gone all out for it, like getting the town to name that day after.
Oh wow!
Person. We're going to be doing it in like a public park, outdoor stage.
Yeah.
There'll be about 110 people in the audience. They're going to be doing such cool things like fake protest signs for things that normally people would protest. Like do away with silent letters was one example that was
nice.
Was given, and they're going to be dressing like they're all from the 70s. So I'm looking forward to this. Might be the show. I think this might be the most fun show I've ever done. It has
That's awesome.
To be the most fun show that I've ever done. No microphones, so really perfect for a really loud person like me.
Yep.
Too.
You'll be the one that everybody hears the most. Hey, you had another show in Massachusetts recently, right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
That was really nice. It was another public park one, gazebo there. The audience was really nice. It was an enjoyable time. It had been raining right before, then the rain stopped really just in time for the show. So we had a good time. The funny thing was where people started sitting, they were like so far away from where the stage was that sometimes it was tough to hear them in short form, so you're getting a lot back from the audience. But
yeah,
it was a lot of fun. And this Sunday, it's not a show, but my cousin's getting married. And I bring it up to say that I waited until Monday to try on all my dress pants and realized they all shrunk during the pandemic.
Yeah, so amazing how many clothes shrunk during the pandemic.
Weird, right? Who knew COVID had that effect on people?
Yeah.
So I went to my go-to, which used to be Burlington Coat Factory. Like when I worked where I did business cash, Burlington Coat Factory was great for dress shirts.
Yeah.
Good quality ones and dress pants. Turns out I went to the one in Cranston, Johnston, and Woonsocket. They are getting away from that. So
really,
this week I've got to go to Kohl's and get
Kohl's or Marshalls. Sometimes I have really good.
Another good idea. So I'm just messing up my. So my dress shirts that were all like slim fit,
No.
No, I need to wear like two of those, one
Yeah.
backwards and one forwards
Yeah.
to get those. So big old shopping for Jerrod this week.
Anyways, yeah, no, I got the weekend off where Jay Woo's rented out Roger Williams Park Zoo on Friday night, so I'm going to be
Ooh.
hanging out with college students at the zoo, so which is kind of a good time. But then, yeah, I'm off, and I'm thinking about taking Monday off too. So, but show wise, I think we have a Wilty, not this this Thursday, not tomorrow, which would be the 9th, not the 16th, but the 23rd and possibly the 30th. So would I lie to you? Will be probably the next shows I'm involved with. But I'm also hoping that some of the level ones at Pig are going to run and maybe have an audience or not. But I'd love to check those out as well. So I know those are coming up. And the level 2 are a lot of my level 1 students. So I'd love to see them and support them and that sort of thing.
Did I
Yeah.
ever tell you the story that when I applied for a job at the Roger Williams Zoo?
No.
So it was after I left my last job and before I took this one, I was like, I don't really need to work because I still had money saved
Right.
up. Let me just try for
Do
something.
something fun. Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it was one of the jobs. So it was like when you'd be presenting stuff to the crowd about animals and stuff. I submitted a resume for that. Never heard back.
Never heard back.
And
Well,
totally missed out.
Jerrod, they're doing that for us on Friday. I got
Oh, really?
four, yeah, zookeepers, but I guess it's people that are like you and but not
No,
you.
I so couldn't watch it because I'm willing to bet they're really nice people. They're really good people. They deserve better than me in their audience going, I would be doing this. This would be so much better if I were doing it. They deserve better than that, and that's what I would be doing.
And that's what you'd be doing. Oh, docents. Yeah, I guess that's the technical name of a museum curator. Yeah, so Sam confirmed 9:23 and 9:30 are would I lie to you? And I don't know. Rumor has it that places may be opening up, but I don't know. That's changing on a daily, so we'll
I,
see.
I think everybody who's running like theaters or
Yep.
troops are really watching the news to see how things are going because it is the
Yep.
plot point. More people are vaccinated, especially our communities happen to be ones where I think people do get vaccinated. But like there's more people in the hospital now than there was back
Yep.
a year ago when we thought COVID was at its worst. So
Yeah. It's a scary time. It's a scary time. So,
yeah,
all right. On that note. We'll be back again in 2 weeks, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We always enjoy it. Yeah, check us out at Bring Your Own Improv and Providence Improv Guild, and a shout out to a theater that neither one of us are involved with, but they're opening. Is Kismet Theater is opening, so
I'll bet
plenty of
more improv starting up in the area.
yeah. So improv, and then down by me in South County, the Contemporary Theater Company. I've been doing outdoor improv on Friday nights. So and they also have live dramatic plays and that sort of thing. So there's tons of things to
That's
do, and
cool.
there's still plenty of nice weather to do outdoor things and all that good stuff. So plenty of stuff going around, and hopefully we enjoy our virtual audience, but hopefully we'll see you soon at some of these live places.
Yeah, I am
So,
so looking. Tell you what, getting back on stage after
yeah,
a year and a half of not being was great. It
yeah,
was great, nerve wracking. I don't. It's not audiences. I can be in front of an audience of 1 million people. It bothers me less than having to make one-on-one small talk with people. It's just like I hope I
yeah.
remember how to do this. I hope I remember to use physicality on stage, or a lot of things that you find yourself having to
I,
get back into having the good habits for.
yeah, I think it all comes back. Like riding a bike, it's muscle
Yeah,
memory. A lot of it is muscle memory at this point. You
yeah.
just need to exercise that. All right, buddy.
All
We'll see
right.
everybody in 2 weeks, and enjoy it. And thanks for spending your hump day with us. Bye.
Big kisses for you. Mwah!